this was fun. I think I think most critics, at least, I'm seeing this a little bit after everybody, but I think most critics just agreed this was fun. It doesn't have to be great. It's not rewriting anything. It's actually pretty much copying another franchise. This is The Beekeeper. This movie stars Jason Statham. It also has some other people in it, but it's a Jason Statham movie. It's directed by David Ayer, who you might know from Fury, Suicide Squad. You know, we got a couple of David Ayer movies out there that are pretty well known. And now he's doing The Beekeeper with Jason Statham. So it's very promising. What also is promising is that The Beekeeper would like for you to click subscribe. And you don't want to make The Beekeeper angry. So you better do it. Anyway, so The Beekeeper is basically John Wick. We open up at the beginning of the film, and there's this mysterious man who is played by Jason Statham, who is exactly what he says he is. He is a beekeeper. He's working in a barn on this woman's property, the woman being played by Felicia Rashad. And he's, at the beginning of the film, he's taking out some hornets so that they don't take out the bees. And then, just kind of keeping track of his bees and getting some honey and just sort of living the life. There's some great jokes that come out of this. There's a point where Felicia Rashad's daughter, when she asks him, why he's there, what is he doing here? He was like, I'm bringing her some honey. And her response is, what are you, Winnie the Pooh? I was like, oh, we're going to get some good jokes out of this. uh, so, yeah. It's very aware of how absurd it is at certain points. And that's what I really love about it, is the commitment to the beekeeper part of it. At one point, there's a book on beekeeping that literally this FBI agent reads so that she can understand more about beekeeping, because she feels like she can understand Jason Statham more. I love it. But basically, the plot is that there's a criminal enterprise that preys on older people by doing those pop-ups on your computer, those annoying pop-ups where they're like, we have control over your computer. Call us now to get your data restored. And Felicia Rashad falls for it. And they take everything, and then she kills herself. So that's, I know, spoiler, but it's like the first 5 to 10 minutes of the movie. So it is literally the catalyst for the rest of the movie. The movie can't move forward until it happens. So I don't know what else to tell you. But that's what that actually is. So she's not in much of the movie. Which, of course, Jason Statham, they were friends, and she was nice to him, and he will seek revenge. But, he's just a beekeeper. What does he know? Oh, he's not just a beekeeper? You mean there's a secret organization and beekeeper is actually just like a term that they use because long ago we created a secret underground organization that works opposite from everything else and has full autonomy to be able to right the wrongs of the world, and he's secretly a part of this. Oh, so it's like John Wick. Oh, so he's John Wick. I think his actual first name is John. I think his name was like John Gray or something like that. John Clay or something like that. I don't know. It's some weird short name. It doesn't really matter. It was so much more fun in the audio description before he ever had a name, because then they just called him the Beekeeper. And I was like, oh, please don't ever give this guy a name. And they were like, the beekeeper moves down, the beekeeper does this, the beekeeper. And I was like, oh, please don't ever give this guy a name. Oh, I've never wanted somebody to not have a name. I'm very pro naming people in films. And it was so much funnier to hear the beekeeper doing all these things. And I was like, oh, I can't even imagine the action sequences later on when they're just saying the beekeeper all the time. Unfortunately, he gets a name, and then they call him Clay like the whole time. So anyway, um, yeah. So it becomes slightly less interesting, I guess. I don't know. It's fine. I know we needed to give the guy a name. He has to have a name. They do the thing where they research him and they find that he has like no information ever. They're like, all I have is a birth certificate and a social security number. This guy's never even flown in an airplane. It's like he's a ghost. Well, obviously impossible. It just means that he's, you know, probably somebody you shouldn't mess with if somebody's gone to that much trouble to hide his identity. Probably. Anyway, so yeah, he kicks some butt. He's got some FBI agents who are good guys, by the way, uh, following and trying to stop him from killing too many people. They're also trying to shut down this enterprise that caused Felicia Rashad to off herself uh, at the beginning, and they want to shut it down sort of like the legal way and expose and do all that kind of stuff. And on the other side, on the flip side, we have the other recognizable faces in the movie, which are Josh Hutcherson plays sort of like the top douche of the organization. Um, and yeah, he's obnoxious. It's an interesting role for Josh because he usually plays likable characters. This dude's not likable at all. There's nothing about this character that makes you go, yeah, I don't want to see Jason Statham kick his ass. Um, and we also have Jeremy Irons because I guess he needed to work. It's a decent role for Jeremy. He finds some fun in it. I didn't hate it. I thought it was fine. I do kind of miss Jeremy Irons getting meaty roles, but this was fine. It is what it is. Those are sort of the people you're going to recognize. This film takes every opportunity it can to talk about bees and beekeeping, and find some like cool little way of making some joke or some reference, or talking about like the Queen Slayer and like all of these things. And that poor FBI agent is like reading this book on beekeeping. This movie is awesome for so many reasons. Is it the best movie ever? No, but it's awesome. It just kicks butt. It's a fun movie to watch. Anybody who didn't have fun watching The Beekeeper probably just doesn't have fun. Like it's so hard to not look at this either from a slightly comedic slant and laugh at it, or also to just have fun with the action sequences, because the action sequences are really well done. Also, there's a scene where Jason Statham is about to fight some people in a barn, and in a shed or a tool shed, or I don't know, something like that, some workspace. And there's all of these things that it shows him going in there, right? And he turns on this like drill bit, and he turns on, like a saw, and just some other things, and there's like a hook hanging from the ceiling, and it just feels like a horror movie. And I very much had this like, oh dude, what if, and follow me on this, what if the next Friday the 13th it wasn't Jason Voorhees, it was just Jason Statham? What if Jason Statham was the killer? I felt like this was gonna be like the scene that was gonna like test us and be like, oh, I bet he could do it. I bet he'd make a great Jason as Jason, like, um, because they were setting up all of these things that they would normally set up in a horror movie, when they're like, look at all of these things that can do damage. Oh my God. Can't you wait to see what we do with that drill bit? And the audio description followed it. It was so on point. I gotta give props. It's Deluxe, narrated by Jedediah Barton. And I thought, yeah, the audio description here is great. Like I said, it pointed out all of the little things throughout the entire facility. And then it also does all the action sequences really well. So it tracks all of his movement. He does so many ridiculous things. This movie makes no sense. But it makes no sense in the best ways. I love this film for all of its weird reasons. for all of its absurdity. I so want a Beekeeper too. I want, like, I'm down. Let's do this. This is like John Wick takes itself seriously and it ended, and we so totally needed something that was like John Wick, but not as serious. And we got that last year with Sisu, but I don't know if we're gonna get Sisu sequels. But this is like that. This is the Beekeeper, and I loved it. Um, for different, for so many, for a variety of reasons. Even the plot twist towards the end is so bonkers that you're just like, well, of course. Even though I saw, like, at a certain point, I saw it coming because I could see where they were headed with certain things, and I was like, I bet this is what this is. And I was like, yep, that's exactly. My God, it called it. Totally called it. They telegraphed it enough to where it wasn't like a huge, but it still feels bonkers, to me, to be totally honest. So yeah, the final act of the film is set in a very interesting way, in an interesting place, and I think you'll enjoy it. I don't want to spoil it. I don't mind spoiling the Felicia Rashad thing because it's literally that is the beginning of the film, and it is the catalyst that happens in order for the rest of the film to happen. I mean, it might be something that you're like, I didn't need to know that. It's like it is literally that's the movie. I don't know what else to tell you. I just like that is the catalyst. It's the thing that sets forth the whole movie. If Felicia Rashad didn't do that, there would be no movie. So that is what they've chosen to make the initial act to click the diamonds, the what is it, diamonds, dominoes, and start the dominoes moving forward. Anyway, this is fun. David Ayer did a good job at this. Jason Statham is fun. My favorite part in the film is when, totally serious, the daughter of Felicia Rashad is sitting there talking to Jason Statham, and she says, she's like, there's a hint of British Isles in your voice. I was like, a hint? Where did you think he was from? Kansas? Like, what? Like, there's a couple ways to say some words. I can't tell. Is it Wisconsin? Or was it British? I can't. I'm having a real hard time picking up on your accent. It's just like there's a hint of British Isles in your voice. I love that. That was the dumbest line that was said by supposedly the smartest character in the film. Yeah, great. I love this movie. Unfortunately, yeah, it's exactly what you think it is, and I can only give it just so many points for ripping off John Wick, but I had a lot of fun with this, and it doesn't need to be. It's not going to win the Oscars. It doesn't need to. But considering the output Jason Statham had last year with Expendables and The Meg 2, please make more Beekeepers. This is exactly what Jason Statham should be doing. If we could have a Mechanic 2 and multiple Transporter movies, we could definitely get another Beekeeper. So I'm on board. Let's do it. Let's get David Ayer back too, because he did a good job. Anyway, I'm going to give The Beekeeper a B+. I enjoyed it. I liked it. It's fun. It's fine. It's a good action film. It does everything it's supposed to do as an action film. Don't overthink it. It's not going to be a classic like Die Hard, but it's a good time. You'll have a good time with it, and that's what matters. So anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I will see you guys on the other side.